Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we're looking at Bastions of Law for Necromunda, the new book covering the Palanite Enforcers. So yeah, massive thanks to GamesWorks for sending this one over to have a look at on the site. It's been a while since we had a flip through a Necromunda book on YouTube, and yeah, there's a lot of cool Necromunda stuff up for pre-order today. This is the newest book for Necromunda. It's basically a House of book for the Palanite Enforcers. Bastions of Law. So much like the House of books, it's got a load of background in there, the full gang list, and then loads of additional content for Enforcers players. Now, out alongside this book are a load of new plastic kits as well. We do have a separate video up, which I'll link in the description, which goes through all those kits. We check them out, we build them up, we've painted them as well. So yeah, check that out if you're interested in the plastics. And then over on spruesandbrews.com, I've got a full in-depth write-up of this book too. So if you are interested, check that out because there's some really cool stuff in here. But yeah, in this video what we're going to do is go through the whole book, see what's changed for the Enforcers, what cool new bits in here, and what cool kind of lore developments and stuff there are. Anyone who's watched the site will know I'm a massive fan of Necromunda, and I always enjoy diving into these books. And one of the main reasons is really for the lore. They do a great job in these books of kind of expanding out the lore. Each book's really covering a small slice of Necromunda itself, and you get a lot of background into these kind of like more minor factions. We did get a previous supplement, I forget what it's called now, which did have the Enforcer rules in there, but most of that book was dedicated to a campaign system, where this is pretty much all Enforcers in here, which is cool. We get a really nice history of the Enforcers as well, going back from the Lone Marshal, who was like a champion of Lord Helmore at the time, who ended up deputising basically anyone he could find to help his war against gangs and the like. And then over the years that slowly like evolved into the Enforcers. So we get quite a lot of detail here, going all the way from kind of those days through kind of modern Necromunda and right up to current events with the rise of the Eranthians. So obviously the Eranthian successions caused a bit of an upheaval on Necromunda, and the way the Enforcers operate has changed a little bit because of that too. So some really good background. I really enjoyed kind of digging into this one and seeing what was new and checking out kind of all the history of them, which is really fun. We get a full breakdown of kind of the structure of the Palanite Enforcers too, so kind of all the different ranks they've got, the hierarchy and power of them, and even kind of lots of nods to how corrupted they actually are. Ultimately they're much like any other gang on Necromunda, and whoever's got the most credits will often kind of sway the decision. Some precincts might be more kind of like in tow to the Imperial House, but many of them are kind of a law to themselves, no pun intended. So yeah, really cool. We also learn about some of the different precincts out there as well, and some of the various patrols of legends too. There's a nice one here where, while most of them are a bit kind of corrupt, there is a precinct where they are very kind of by the books, and if you even dare to, you know, suggest a bribe or them looking the other way, then you're going to get in a bit of trouble. So yeah, really cool. Lots of stuff to dig into, and yeah, if you're a fan of Necromunda, you'll really enjoy reading that because you know, it does kind of build up and expand on that kind of scant information that we've got in the past, and I really like that they're focusing on kind of smaller factions now. But yeah, most people watching this will want to know kind of what the rules are, and we do get a full Palanite Enforcers gang list. Now, a few things have changed since the previous rules for them. They now really operate like a normal gang. They still get territories as normal. They start off with their own unique territory, the Palanite Precinct. They get D6 times 10 credits when collecting income from it, and they also get +1 reputation. In addition, similar to the rule that they used to have for the Juves, when a fighter is deleted from your roster, you get to hire a new one for free, basically a new recruit to replace your old one. It is just a rookie, which is your Juve equivalent, but it means that, you know, it's pretty good in that you can get a free one I mean, there are not many credits anyway, but it's handy, and it kind of thematically that kind of feels quite cool as well. So really, really like that they now operate more like a normal gang. I think that's going to make it more fun for Enforcers players, because not being able to kind of claim territories and stuff, you do miss out on a lot of the fun of the Necromunda campaign, so it's good to see that kind of addressed in here. So onto the gang themselves, there's been quite a few changes with these. For a start, your Palanite Enforcers are now Ballistic Skill and Weapon Skill 3, so they're a lot better at shooting than they used to be, which is really, really cool. They don't come with any gear as standard, apart from manacles, which are basically handcuffs. For I think it's just a normal action, you can try and cuff somebody. If they're successfully cuffed, they can't use ranged weapons, they can only use melee weapons, and they're at -2 to hit if they do. They can try and break free using a strength test, and then if there's any kind of friendly models nearby, they can help bust them out as well. So just a little thing, but I think again it fits thematically that these guys would kind of go in, handcuff someone, stop them from using their big guns, and then maybe deal with them properly later. So, and again from a kind of a thematic, if you did like a campaign or something, I really like that. All your Enforcers come with them now, and then all your other gear is available. Each different ganger has their own equipment list now, and there's, you know, a lot of options on here too. And obviously during a campaign you can just draw stuff from the trading post as well, but there's a lot more options for kind of outfitting your captain here, so you can go more melee heavy or more ranged heavy. Obviously they have a decent ballistic skill as well, so yeah, you get some really, really nice options for your Enforcer captain, and it's nice to see that. Moving on to the champions, both of the sergeants have now been split out into 2 different profiles. So you've got a Palanite Enforcer sergeant. They are more specialised in ranged attacks, so they've got a ballistic skill of 3+, they have shooting as a primary skill now, and yeah, they've got access to a lot more guns. So you've got heavy stubbers on there, you've got, you know, a lot of, you know, web gun, sniper rifle, flamer, a lot of the stuff that's in that upgrade sprue that's up for pre-order today as well. So if you want a more kind of ranged focused champion, you can pick this guy up, which is cool. If you rather a more melee heavy champion, you can have the Subjugator Sergeant. They have got a 3+ in weapon skill rather than ballistic skill, and they've got brawn as a primary skill. So again, really more geared to close combat, and that's seen in their gear list as well. While they do still have the, you know, Subjugator exclusive heavy weapons, they have a lot more close combat weapons they can take. Obviously can take those vigilance, pass and assault shields as well. So yeah, really, really cool. I like that split, and it makes it a bit easier for managing your gang as well, because you can have dedicated specialists in, you know, close combat and ranged attack as well. We see that happen to your standard gangers as well. So they've been split out into Enforcer patrolmen, and then the Subjugator patrolmen we'll see in a little bit. They don't have any advantage to the ballistic skill here, but they do have shooting as a primary skill. Now it's worth noting here that just your specialist can pick up skills, your standard gangers can't. But obviously you can start the game with one of each type of patrolman being upgraded to a specialist, and then your gangers you can upgrade to specialists during the campaign. So again, gives you that nice split in the skills that they can have. And then again from the gear as well, these are more focused on, well, obviously what's on the sprue for the standard Enforcers, while on the next page we've got our Subjugators, who have brawn as a primary skill for their specialists, and again their weapon list then reflects the stuff that is on that sprue. So previously it was weird, they had a kind of shared profile. Now it's a bit more interesting where they've got a different profile for each of them, and you've got that split of skills as well, which I think is pretty cool. You then have your Juve. He's your rookie patrolman, cheap as chips. Like I say, you do get a free one when somebody gets killed in your roster as well. They have Palanite Drill as their primary skill, which is cool, and then a kind of much more shrunk down list of gear that they've got. So your Juves are not going to be packing, you know, great gear at the start. However, they can as well take upgrades from the trading post as well. So if you did want to give them some decent gear, it's only going to take you a couple of games to get to that point. So that's really useful too. So moving on to the rest of the kind of entries for the Enforcers, you've got your Palanite Ranger crew for your vehicles. They can take pretty much anything, custom vehicles, Enforcer Taurus Venators, their rules for them are in the book, and then the Ridge Runner, the Rock Rider and the Wolf Quad. They're not in the book, but obviously if you've got any of the supplements with the Ashway stuff, you'll be able to find those. Another new one that's been introduced are the hard case Cyber Mastiffs. These are really cool. You have 2 of them in your gang, and they're a 0-2 choice for your sergeants and your captains. And they're pretty good. If they're killed before they activate, they get to make their activation before they're removed, which is pretty good for biting something down that might be attacking them. They count as having light carapace armour and a respirator too, making them quite resilient. And they've got a really nice Faithful Protector rule. As long as that it's active and within 3 inches of its owner, enemy fighters can't do coup de grace on their owner, which is really, really good. And then when the owner kind of activates, the Cyber Mastiff can jump into base contact with it if it wants to as well. So really, really handy. 130 credits is a little bit pricey for them, but I think they're going to be really, really useful, especially for stopping those coup de grace kind of attacks. And that ability to kind of jump into base contact, I think they're going to be quite good. So really like the Cyber Mastiff. We then get a new set of hangers on, the Enforcer Haunt. So these guys are really, really cool. They're sanctioned psychers, and they've got basically 2 different flavours that you can lean into. There's the Psyrender, who is more of a, I guess, a deterrent. Enemy models have to try and pass a check if they want to charge them. If they fail, their action ends immediately. They can mind control enemy models to shoot their own comrades. They can make people insane. They can make people broken. They're very like psychological warfare, which is very good. The other option is the Bone Crusher. He's a more kind of a combat-oriented psyker. He increases strength and damage by 1, which is really good. And then he's basically Darth Vader. He can pick up, using his mind, he can pick up bits of terrain and throw them at enemy models, which, you know, can force injury rolls and stuff, which is really, really cool. They can create a force field that increases their save. And they can use Force Blast, which can be used to knock models off, you know, edges of platforms and stuff. So really like both of them. Both of them have got different utilities and things they can do. They're really, really fun to paint up as well. In the other video I have painted up both of these models for 85 credits each. They're pretty cheap as well. I think they're pretty decent hangers on that you can take. So yeah, well worth adding to your gang for some psychic potential. We do get all the kind of usual hangers on in here as well. So the rules for the Slopper, the Rogue Doc, Ammo Jacks, Gang Lookout, Dome Runner are all included in here. And then from the Brutes we've got the Sanctioner Automata, which was released a little while ago. The full rules for that are in here, as are the Ambots and the Ogrins as well. So nice assortment of units available for the Enforcers, which is cool. Like I mentioned earlier, we also get the rules for the Taurus Venator as well. Really, really cool vehicle, and good to see it included in the book here. It's a shame the other ones aren't included, but I suppose they're all in the Ashway supplement. We also get some options for some hired guns as well. So Hive Scum are included in here, as are Bounty Hunters with all their full rules, and House Agents. So yeah, really handy. These are basically like Bounty Hunters equipped with 150 credits worth of Palanite Enforcer gear, basically representing you requesting some backup and some more heavily armed guys coming to assist your gang. You've got to petition them, like with a lot of the kind of extra ganger options in some of the other supplements, and it gives you a nice way of having a level playing field. If you may be a new gang joining a campaign and your poor precinct is getting torn down by the enemy gangs, you can make the request out to the house agents and get them to come along and give you a hand, which is nice. I quite like these mechanics where if you're kind of struggling with your reputation, at least you can get a couple of guys in to help you and level the playing field a little bit, so that's pretty cool. Scrutinator Primus Severlin is also included here. She's in a really old book now, but again it's good to see her included here. So you've got the kind of enforcer flavoured bounty hunter within the book as well. And that's the nice thing with these books that they do, it kind of compiles all the stuff that we've seen so far for the game, and yeah, it's nice having it all in one place, which is really cool. So yeah, so that's the gang list. Really, really cool. I like that they've got some more options in there. I like how they've split out the different unit types, and the new editions look really, really fun as well. As ever though, in these House of style books, we do get quite a lot of additional rules that expands on how the enforcers play and the fun stuff that they can do in games. So we've got the Palanite drill skills. Now they did have these in the original book they were in. They have been tweaked a little bit though, so if you've played them previously, a lot of these are pretty much the same. Most of them are just tweaking in wording, because obviously we've had a few core rule books since their rules were first printed, so the way they've worded stuff's changed a little bit over the years. So a few of them are just tweaks in the wordings to kind of, I guess, change mechanically, clearer how the mechanics work. Some of them have changed completely though. So Helmor's Justice, for example, when you do a coup de grace, you gain additional XP. I think previously you got to re-roll on the injury chart, so that's changed a little bit. It makes it a little bit less punishing for the enemy player, but you still get the reward of extra XP, so that's pretty cool. And off the top of my head, non-verbal communication used to be different as well. Now it's simply any friendly fighters with line of sight to this fighter may use this fighter's core characteristic when taking a nerve test. So that's pretty cool. I think the other ones are pretty much the same off the top of my head. Maybe, like I say, a few wording changes here or there, but nothing massive. Prefectures is something that is new for the Enforcers, and basically Necromunda is split up into a few different prefectures where different kind of groups of enforcers operate, and because of the different environments they're in, the way they operate is a little bit different. So from a gameplay mechanic, what that means is that you get different skills, different gear, different upgrade options based on where on Necromunda they're from, which is really, really fun. So we've got the Palanite Prefecture. They've got some cool stuff. These are skills that you can pick from the Palanite drill set. They're basically added to that, and when you get the skill, you can choose to pick one of these, which is pretty awesome. So core reinforcements is a new double action, and what that lets you do is immediately bring a friendly fighter onto the battlefield when somebody's taken out of action. So basically radioing for backup, which is a really, really cool idea. Priority threat, if your fighter's got that skill, you randomly select an enemy fighter at the start of the game, and that fighter basically has a bounty that you're trying to get, and if you take them out by the end of the game, you get D6 plus 10 credits. So I really like that one. Again, from a narrative point of view, you could always speak to your arbitrator and maybe name the bountied character that you're trying to kill each game, something like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty useful. And then Shield Companion's a really good one as well. Basically, if somebody's in base contact with you, they get the advantage of your assault shield. So yeah, really, really fun. Manera Prefecture are all about beasts, so they get advanced beast handling. So any exotic beast this fighter owns may end their activation 6 inches further away than possible. And then you've also got a command ability as well, which lets your beasts do 2 actions. And then you've also got attack order. If the fighter and one of their exotic beasts are both engaged with the same model, increase their beast attacks characteristic by 1. So yeah, that's all about having lots of dogs basically, which is a pretty cool one. Secundum Prefecture don't get any new skills as such, but they do get access to some new vehicle war gear. So Suppression Siren, once per battle during the model's activation, the controlling player may declare they're using the Suppression Siren. When it's used, all enemy fighters within 12 inches must immediately make a toughness check. If it fails, they suffer a flesh wound with no saves of any kind allowed as they become deafened. So that's pretty cool. Big siren on the top of your vehicle. Vox Disruptor. Enemy fighters do not benefit from the gang hierarchy rules while they're within 9 inches, so that's really good. And Electroshock Projector. When an enemy fighter ends activation within 6 inches of the vehicle, roll a d6 on a 5+, they suffer an automatic strength 3, damage 1 hit. So, yeah, some really cool stuff. Badland Prefectures get a couple of new skills. So when they do a charge, they can add d6 to their movement characteristics. That's pretty cool. Reclamation Contracts. When the fighter's gang sells common equipment during the post-battle sequence, they get the full credits value rather than half. And additionally, reduce the cost of the first piece of common equipment purchase because they've got good, connections to buy stuff. And they've also got good availability of a load of bionic replacements as well. Similar is the Poison Sea Prefecture. They get a skill which gives them a resistance to toxins or gas, and they also have access to chems for cheaper and more plentiful than most gangs would normally have as well. So really, really like those. As with a few of the other books, we get a new alliance option as well. This time it is the Imperial House. So this is a pretty cool one. Obviously the only like law-abiding allies. If you do ally with them, basically you can set one of your territories to be like an official Imperial House territory, and basically that doubles what you can collect post-battle sequence from it. So, you know, you put the stamp of the Imperial House on it and you can collect double the rewards, which is cool. You also get to add Enforcer bodyguards to your gang as well. They're the new resin models, and they look really, really cool. Obviously there is a cost to this as well. You've got to pay Imperial tax, so whenever you earn credits, you've got to give D3 times 10 credits back to the Imperial House as well. There is a kind of another kicker in there as well. If you do ever split from them, you're immediately branded an outlaw. So yeah, you've got to watch out for that too, because that could sting you if you get in trouble there. But yeah, really, really cool. The rules for the bodyguards are included here too. They're pretty cool. They're tooled up like Uber Enforcers with Ballistic Skill 3+, armed with stub guns and disintegration gun. They've got magnacles. Obviously the Enforcers can have these as allies, but any gang can as well, as long as they're lawful. So yeah, they're pretty good. They've got Overwatch and Fearsome as well. So yeah, Overwatch with those disintegrator guns is going to be quite good. So yes, you're paying the tax in order to have these guys in your gang, but I think they're going to be really, really useful as well. So yeah, really, really like them. I think they're going to be good fun. Now we do get a full suite of gang tactics, and these are printed in here. They're also available separately on the cards too. So these are always pretty fun, and I like that they print them in the book as well for completion. There's nothing worse than feeling like you've missed out because you know, you didn't get the cards or whatever. I do recommend picking up the cards. They are kind of really useful to use in games, but having them all in the book is really good too. So yeah, then we get a couple of cool scenarios that are really flavoured around the Enforcers. The first one, Asset Seizure, basically has your guys do a raid. There's contraband all over the battlefield. That's kind of the stockpiles of what the enemy gang's got, and the cops have just busted in and are trying to seize it all. So really nice thematic one as they're battling through. It's quite a brutal mission. It only ends either when all the contraband's been seized or one of the gangs is destroyed. So it is going to be a bit of a bloodbath. I think this would be really fun if the defender set up the battlefield as their base with various kind of loot caskets that have got this contraband in, and then the cops trying to ram raid their way in to try and seize it all. So really, really fun mission, but not as fun as the Getaway. This one is ridiculously cool. So basically it starts with one gang. They've basically just done a heist. They've all got loot tokens and they're trying to load up their car before they kind of try and do one into the ash wastes. So it starts as a normal ash waste battle with the enemy gang trying to throw all their gear onto their getaway vehicle as the cops turn up without any kind of vehicle support. And then at the end of any turn, the gang who's trying to do the getaway can declare that they're making the getaway. They start the engine, and suddenly the game shifts to a rolling road one. The kind of cops can call in their kind of cars and support and stuff, and then it continues as a police chase after the vehicle. Really, really cool mission. I'm planning on using this in a campaign because I think this is going to be really, really fun as a centerpiece kind of mid-season battle to have. Yeah, really, really good fun. I love stuff like this, especially when it leans into the narrative of the gang as well. Nothing cooler than the police chase, is there, in a Necromunda game? So, yeah, very, very cool. What we also get in the book as well is a brand new sublist as well. So while the main enforcer list basically represents a normal gang that's got supplies and stuff, there's a sublist here that is the Badzone Enforcers. So these are guys that have been cut off from the rest of their forces. They've been forced to operate out in the ash waste or somewhere. They've got limited supplies, limited cash, and because of that they're maybe a little bit more corrupt than the usual enforcer, so they're getting protection money from nearby locals and businesses. They're operating with black market gear. Rather than having fresh recruits to bring into the lines, they're actually getting kind of hive scum in to kind of work for them. So really, really interesting list. I think it's going to be harder to play these than a normal gang. Their territory boon, if they kill 4 enemy fighters during a game, they get 2d6 plus 10 credits at the end, so they're going to have quite a bit of cash to buy their gear, but starting out they're in pretty sorry shape. So you've got your Enforcer Captain, weapon skill 3, only ballistic skill 4 though. He's got a fair range of gear. When we get onto the champions, again, they're only 4s and 4s, they're not quite as good as your normal one. Again, they've got a mixture of different weapons they can have. So again, not quite as strong as your vanilla kind of Enforcer champions. Your gangers are kind of a bit knackered because they're running low of gear. So their weapons have got the scarce trait. Again, they're pretty cheap to recruit, and you've got a limited assortment of gear that you can have. I think what you're relying on is getting some cash post-game in order to buy some better equipment from the trading post in order to fill some of those holes that you've got in your equipment. And then finally, your hive scum are your juves. They've been enlisted. Technically, they're not part of your gang because they're just random criminals and stuff that have been handed a badge and a pistol and kind of drafted in. So, yeah, they basically don't count as part of your gang. They're just expendable conscripts that your gang's quite happy to die, so you don't have to do any nerve tests if they get taken out. They've got an interesting selection of gear, having access to a lot more kind of hive scum stuff, so more interesting close combat weapons. So yeah, interesting gang. I think it's going to be harder to play, but there's a nice stuff, you can do thematically there. Having this kind of ragtag, frontier, corrupted enforcer band, I think it'd be really, really fun to play. And then obviously you could lean into that with getting all your kind of black market gear as well. So yeah, really, really like them. I think they're going to be quite fun to use. As ever, we get a full kind of showcase of the new miniatures. Like I said, we do have a full video of all these built and painted up on the site today, along with some shots over on spruesandbrews.com as well. The ever useful kind of illustrations of all the weapons, and then we get a full comprehensive appendix at the end as well, with all of the war gear rules and the vehicle rules and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, really, really cool book. I really enjoyed reading this one, and I'm looking forward to putting the Enforcers on the battlefield soon. Like I said at the start of the video, Necromunda books are always great fun to kind of dive into, if only from a lore point of view. So being able to kind of get the background of the Enforcers and 2 different Enforcer lists that you can put together. If you do want to put together a Necromunda gang of cops, then I do highly recommend this one. For anyone who's into Necromunda, an arbitrator who maybe wants to have an NPC patrol force and maybe use some of those narrative scenarios as well, this is always worth picking up too. But yeah, that is our look at Bastions of Law, the latest supplement for Necromunda. Like I said, we do have a full video of the unboxing of all the kits. We've built them, we've painted them up, and then on spruesandbrews.com I've got a full write-up of this book as well, going into a bit more detail on everything if you do want to kind of dive into that. And yeah, if you enjoyed the video, why not give us a like, give us a follow. We do lots of videos like this, lots of unboxings. I want to do a stream to Necromunda campaign at some point as well. I think that'd be fun to do in the future. We do also have an affiliate link to Element Games in the description as well. If you do want to support the site, anything that you get through there goes towards running costs for the website and, you know, putting out these videos and all that kind of jazz. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Let us know if you're going to start an Enforcers gang with this book. And until next time, have a great weekend.